If you've ever wondered why some artists are able to build diehard fan bases while others struggle in the midst of obscurity, and you think this is based on how much talent they have, you couldn't be further from the truth. After going undercover as a multi-passionate artist myself, making music and art that has generated over 30 million streams on Spotify alone, I found out the secret that most artists and creatives are unaware of for some reason. Well, to be fair, I didn't exactly go undercover. I went as myself, but you get the point. The truth is that most successful pop stars aren't positioning themselves to just make and share music. They're manufacturing a carefully crafted identity using psychology and storytelling to trigger obsession, and even at times leveraging attention from controversy. And that's exactly why some artists skyrocket while others just kind of fade away. Everyone speaks about the importance of honing your craft as an artist, but what I think makes the real difference is how effective you are at crafting an entire world that your fans can step into. Because the biggest pop stars, they don't just make songs, they build movements, they create identities, and they design experiences that make people feel a deeper sense of connection. And one of the main ways they do this is by creating a world around their brand that kind of pulls people in, other people that have shared interests, and over time, they strategically convert those people into fans. Every detail about the way an artist may choose to dress or speak or act and even interact with their audience is crafted to feel intentional. Each tiny detail acts as a puzzle piece to a bigger story, and the biggest artists in the world have mastered how to become architects of their own creative worlds and how to make other people want to be a part of them. Let's take somebody like Doja Cat, for example. Beyond the music, she knows how to effectively reinvent herself with every single era or different phase of her career. She purposefully uses bold visuals to grab attention and spark conversation, as well as unexpected personas like her surreal demon era, or her playful feline-inspired Met Gala look, or her avant-garde fashion statements that keep both her fans and critics talking. Whether or not you like what she puts out there, she's definitely perfected the art of creating these unpredictable moments on social media that ultimately keep people hooked. Her fans, they don't just listen to her songs, they speak about the world that she's able to create through her sense of style and her expression. Whether it's good or bad, whether it sparks admiration or controversy, they step into her universe, a carefully curated space where every single detail feels intentional, and every reinvention that she has just keeps people guessing, and every single moment that she creates invites a reaction. And like I said, this is not an accident. So I want to break down how not only world building is often used as one of the secret ingredients behind your favorite pop star or celebrity's success, but how you can apply these same strategies when it comes to growing your own audience and positioning yourself so that you can build an actual career from your art. If you're a musician or you're an artist or a creative and you're just focusing on doing the art itself, you're missing a huge opportunity to attract the exact type of people that find the most value in your art beyond the art itself. And understanding this level of creating value for your audience is the key to not only growing as an artist, but to be able to build and sustain a career that generates income for your lifestyle. People aren't just looking to spend money on music or paintings or just random pieces of creative work. They want to invest in experiences that match their identities and connect with emotions that resonate with them. So if you want to turn your creativity into a sustainable career, then you've got to offer more than just the art. You need to create a world that people want to be a part of. That's why instead of just creating and hoping that people resonate with it, you should be world building. So giving your audience something deeper to connect with. I've broken down world building into two distinct categories. The first is shared interests. So this is where you strive to understand what aspects of your personality and values or your aesthetic naturally align with the people that you're trying to attract. So the more you integrate those into your brand, the more your audience will feel like they're stepping into something that they belong to. I've used the category of shared interests myself when it comes to building my own community as an artist and growing my art audience and my music audience as well. And it's led me to not only just seeing success in my music, but also outside of music. music. So it got me paid opportunities and working with brands and other artists as well that shared an audience within the same interests as my own. For example, I had a song called I Don't Want to Go Outside, and that got over 300,000 streams across platforms by simply drawing on my personality trait of being an introvert and using that to attract new listeners into my ecosystem that simply just related strongly to that one trait that was reflected in the music and in the content that I put out at the time, including a homemade video that I made with literally zero budget. I've used this same method to connect with even fellow creatives within my audience that built deeper relationships within a private creative community, which feel free to come and join the vibes if you want. I'll put a link to my Discord below. But the second category of world building is what I see being used in the case of the most successful artists and celebrities, and it's what I like to call character mapping. So this is the method of shaping a unique persona that makes you stand out from everybody else. This doesn't mean being fake. It just means being a bit more intentional about how you present yourself. So refining your style, your mannerisms, and the way that you storytell to create a memorable identity that people can latch onto. Okay, so I want you to think about the artists that you love that have achieved a decent level of success. You'll find that they're not just talented, but they've created distinct, recognizable characters in the world that they've built. So what I've done is I've broken down character mapping into 4 different types. Number 1, it's the amplified self. So this is where you offer your authenticity at scale. You achieve this by taking your real personality and then amplifying certain traits to just make them a bit more pronounced or recognizable and marketable. So some examples of artists who have done this, what I feel to be really well, is Tyler, the Creator. While he naturally is chaotic and rebellious, he also at times exaggerates his humor and his wild energy to make himself stand out. Or somebody like Billie Eilish, her moody and introspective nature, it was clearly always there, but she leaned into it visually and sonically to create an entire aesthetic. And then there's somebody like Kanye West. So in his early years, I would say he turned up his self-confidence and bold opinions to an unavoidable level that made him impossible to ignore. So you can use this strategy to identify the core aspects of your real personality that already make you unique, and then just dial them up visually and emotionally in your storytelling as well. And make sure that you create consistency in how you express these traits so that people are able to instantly associate them with you. Number 2 is the archetype persona. So playing into a recognizable role. What this basically means is aligning with a specific archetype or a personality type that the audience is going to naturally resonate with and gravitate towards. So examples of this can be seen with artists like The Weeknd. He's mysterious, tragic, cinematic, the heartbroken romantic. Then there's somebody like Doja Cat, who's playful, chaotic, and unpredictable, so the provocateur. Then there's somebody like Lana Del Rey, nostalgic, melancholic, poetic, the femme fatale. So choose an archetype that matches your artistic vision and your existing personal energy, and then just focus on building aesthetic cues, storytelling, and mannerisms around that archetype. What you want to make sure is that your audience can describe your persona in a single sentence. So yeah, just to give an example, The Weeknd, he's known as the mysterious, emotionally tortured artist. Then number 3 is the alter ego effect. So inventing a new identity. What this means is creating a completely separate persona or an alter ego, let's say, that embodies an extreme version of your artistic vision. So you can see this with somebody like David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust. He created this sort of alien rock star identity. And then you've got Nicki Minaj with Roman, who's an exaggerated, chaotic alter ego. Or one of the classics I'm sure everybody is aware of is Beyoncé as Sasha Fierce, which is a bolder, more aggressive stage persona. If your natural personality doesn't feel big enough, then there's nothing wrong with creating a fictionalized version of yourself that allows you to kind of step into a role without limiting what you intend with your art. So you could take this any way you want. You could design a different name, a backstory, a visual identity, and completely different behaviors for this persona, and just use the alter ego as a performance tool to push your creative boundaries. And lastly, there's the narrative-driven character, so telling a bigger story. Here's where you could develop a long-term character arc where your audience follows a journey of some sort, or some kind of transformation, or unfolding a mystery. So, for example, going back to The Weeknd in his After Hours era, he transformed visually across his performances, his music videos, and all of his public appearances as well. Or going back to Tyler, the Creator's growth, fans have followed his evolution from a rebellious teenager to more of a sophisticated artist. And to be honest, even Lady Gaga's early years, like at first, she created this sort of avant-garde, alien-like mystery before ever revealing her real self. That's something that sort of came out a bit later on down the line. So you could choose to design a long-term storyline for your persona, or you could bring your audience in to experience your own personal growth or reinvention, or just your transformation over time, using visual storytelling to just keep evolving that character. So every artist fits into one or a mixture of these 4 categories. So if you want to apply the same strategies used to build a recognizable, unforgettable artistic identity that attracts a loyal audience, then ask yourself this: what traits or aesthetic choices can I amplify? Do I need an alter ego to enhance my artistic expression? What long-term story am I telling through my art? By mastering character mapping, you're not just yet another artist in the crowd. You're creating a distinct, memorable presence that fans can just immediately recognize, that they can connect with better, and that they can choose to invest in. So whether you use this presence to just sell your music or your art is one thing, but what it allows you to do is to be able to offer more of a full experience that fans can connect with and not just fit tightly into a box. That's all for this video. See ya!